Hey guys, what's up? I just got home and apparently there's a package waiting for me in the shed. A guy I've been talking to a fair bit lately on the forums called Teddysad said he was going to send me a package for one of his fast fermenting vodka recipes. So hopefully that's what it is. Let's go check it out. Oh yes, this is definitely a recipe pack. Multivitamin tablets, DAP, Epsom salts, there's yeast and bran in here, citric acid, and if you live in America, perhaps you may not be so excited about me getting this because I know this is a whole lot easier for you to get your hands on. In New Zealand, however, this is a pretty cool gift to send a distiller. I'm really stoked with this. So thanks a bunch, man. You've totally hooked me up. This is awesome. I'm really, really stoked with it. So to the rest of you, if you could drop some hype down below in the comment section for Teddysad, that would be awesome, because he totally deserves it. Cool, you say. What on earth is a Teddysad fast fermenting vodka? Teddysad FFV is a vodka that ferments out super quick. He developed this recipe with that goal in mind, making something that ferments out super quick, and in the process of doing so, he came up with something that had a few other benefits as well. Number one, it's fast. By all accounts, this thing ferments down to about 0.99 in 3 to 4 days. That's bonkers. So if you're in a bind like me, I've got a still, I don't have anything to put through it, I want to do that soon, right? Speed is pretty sweet. Two, by using the bran, it adds a bit of a wheat flavor to it. Something along the lines of Grey Goose or an Absolute Vodka for commercial examples. And a lot of people seem to prefer that, especially over what would probably be the closest comparison, something like a tomato wash. But that's up to you, and you'll have to test it out yourself. Number three is this thing's pretty cheap. There's nothing here that is going to be that expensive to get. All the parts are pretty cheap. Teddy said he's buying it in bulk, which is the way to go, so I'm going to keep my eyes out for that. For those in New Zealand, maybe somewhere like Gilmore's. For those over in America, Costco, like everything else. So the key to this recipe is giving the yeast what they want in terms of nutrients, pH, and all that, but also not stressing them out too much by throwing them into a super high gravity wort. The downside to that is that you will get slightly lower yields. You're not going to get such a big ABV, but the upside, like Teddy explains, is the speed. When this thing ferments out in 4 days, you can put 2 of these down in the time it would take you to do just about any other wash. So in the long run, it's actually going to produce you more alcohol over the same amount of time. Alright guys, I'm going to get into whipping this up real quick, but first of all, I just want to give you guys a quick rundown on the recipe. Like I said before, I'm going to be making a 100-litre batch for this. You can check out the original recipe that Teddysad wrote up on the NZ Home Distiller site. I'll stick links down below for you. That is for a 23-litre wash. I've scaled everything up to 100 litres. I'm going to try something a little bit new right now. I know a lot of people out there that watch this channel are from America and you're using that silly imperial system. Guys, you got to get over it, man. Come on. So I'm going to try converting for you. If it's helpful for you, let me know, because it's kind of a pain in the butt for me, but if it's helpful for you guys, I'll keep doing it. If you could also let me know what the sort of standard sizes are for you. I'm guessing I'll do like maybe 5-gallon and 15-gallon batches. Does that sound good? Let me know what works for you though. Okay guys, let's get stuck into that recipe. First up, you're gonna need the all-important sugar. I'm using 17.2 kilograms for the 100 liters. Next, you're gonna need the wheat bran. I'm using 1 kilo. You're also going to need multivitamin tablets. I'm going to use 4 of these. Epsom salts, 1/4 teaspoon. 2 teaspoons of DAP. Citric acid to adjust our wash to right around 5. It's probably going to take about 2 teaspoons for me. And 200 grams of baker's yeast. I'm going to be using the Angel Dry. For a super fast rundown on the overview of this recipe, basically I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that 17 kilos of sugar, dissolve it in hot water, add it to the fermenter, crush up all the dry nutrients and salts and stuff, Dissolve those, add them to the fermenter, and while I'm doing all of that, the thing that's going to take the longest is simmering the bran. So I'm going to go do that first. It needs to simmer for 30 minutes. Going to whack that in the fermenter, and then I can top it up with hot and cold water to try and hit right around 30 degrees. Unfortunately, all of the heated vessels I have out here are exposed elements, and I'm thinking that's probably a really bad idea for simmering bran. So I'm going to go inside and do this on the stove. Let's go do it. So I'm aiming for 8 liters of water in this pot to go with my 1 kilo of bran, and I've just been boiling in the jug and whacking it in there to make it nice and quick. We've got one more jug to go, and then we're ready to hit the bran. Cool, so that is 1 kilo measured out, and now we just need to get that into the boiling water and let it simmer for half an hour. So I'm going to give this a really good stir now, and I'm going to let it come back up to the simmer. We don't need to boil it hard, but we do want to let it go for about 30 minutes. Teddy emphasizes that it's this step and taking the time to do this that really helps this fermentation kick off and rip through that sugar nice and quick. And in my situation, that's really what I want. I want to get my first run done and get onto distilling fast. So I'm going to do just that. If you guys are doing it as well, you should too. Cool, so that's just come back up to the simmer. I'm going to let it do its thing for half an hour. I'm going to come back and give it a stir every few minutes. But while this is doing its thing, I'm going to start the yeast hydrating. Alright, so Teddy didn't give me a temperature for rehydrating the water, but I know for beer I always aim a little bit lower than the ferment temp, so I've done that again here. I've got this water, which is filtered water, to 25 degrees, and I'm aiming for 400 mils. If I can get it in the bowl, that'll do nicely. Wow, man, that bran is starting to smell amazing. Anyway, in with the yeast. Alright, so our 30 minutes is up. I'm just going to give this another stir, take it off the heat, and we can head back out to the shed. Just so you know, guys, if you don't have to worry about recording and you're not worried about YouTube land, you should be able to get most of this recipe done in the time that it takes to boil the bran. Seeing as I'm not used to dealing with big volumes like this, and I wasn't exactly sure how easy it was going to be to mix inside the fermenter because I don't have one of the paint mixers yet, I figured it would be a really good idea to grind up all the dry ingredients in the pestle and mortar, dissolve it in water, and then add that to the fermenter just to make it mix nice and easily. Seeing as I don't have a large pump and the idea of lifting large amounts of rather hot sugar water above my head didn't seem like a great idea, I just decided to do the sugar in small batches. So I mixed up a couple of kilos of sugar with a little bit of water and tipped it into the fermenter. I did half the sugar just like that, then I moved on to all the nutrients I pre-dissolved and also the bran. I did it in this order just because I figured that the bran and the nutrients could do with a little bit of agitation in the fermenter. I guess that was kind of pointless, but what the heck. And in goes the last of the dissolved sugar. Lastly, I just needed to top it up to 100 litres total, using both hot and cold water, aiming for right around 28 degrees Celsius. Now we're getting somewhere, guys. There's a little over 100 litres in here. I'm guessing 105, 110 litres, something like that. And I've just made an interesting find, which is going to be very helpful coming forward. I've used the chef's thermometer and the pizza oven thermometer. Chef's thermometer inside and the IR on the outside, and they're within half a degree of each other, which is amazing to me. I didn't think that would work, but it seems like it does. We are at just over 28 degrees, which is perfect. Time to get the yeast in there, and I can go to bed. Alright, so the yeast is nice and frothy. Looks like really active, vibrant yeast. It's all well hydrated too. It's like a really consistent consistency. So ready to go in. Here we go. And I'm just going to get some fresh water and give that a little rinse to get all the rest of the yeast out. Apparently this stuff takes off super fast. I'm going to be expecting to see a cap on this within about an hour, I think. The last thing I want to do is just give it a really good stir up, get oxygen all the way through, get it nice and oxygenated for that yeast. and then I'll check on it tomorrow morning. With all the excitement, I guess I forgot to take a reading. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be super precise. Hopefully I'm in the ballpark, but let's grab one and find out, eh? Okay, so that's reading 1064, and it is hotter than 20 degrees. If it was cooler, it would be slightly denser. So what, maybe another couple of, well, maybe a point at that temperature. So 1065, we're right in the ballpark as far as I can tell. So everything should be good. Let's let it go. This thing has not even been fermenting for 24 hours. It's right around 20 right now, I think, and it is absolutely charging. It's got a full cap on it. I've got it set up to the STC 1000. This is the STC 1000 for my fridge, but I've bypassed it through into the fermenter here. I don't have a thermowell in there yet. That's probably something I will do eventually, but whatever. I've got a heater set around the back of the fermenter to keep it nice and warm, and I have this set at 28 degrees. There's no reason to take a reading right now. I'm going to come back in about 3 days and check on it just to see how the activity's going. So thanks again to Teddysad. You're an absolute hero. If you're watching this, dude, let me know what I've done right, let me know what I've done wrong, and I can make sure that everyone else gets really good info as well. Thanks a bunch, man. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone else for hanging out and watching the video, and like I said, drop some hype down below for Ted, because he's really helped me out, and I hope he's helped you guys out too. So if you like the video, like it. If you really like it, hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully, this thing will be done in time to do a stripping run. If not, I'm going to have to find something else to do, I guess. See ya!